Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Darren After the Credits, number 41. I'm your host today, Darren McClymans, and joining us today, as always, is my good friend. It's Darth Bunyan. How's it going, Darth?
Hi, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am doing good. I am doing good.
Good. Wonderful
I
stuff.
didn't see nothing.
Nothing.
No. Just turned it on a couple of seconds.
Nightcrawler. I'm Nightcrawler. I'm appearing. Bam!
Here, yeah.
Bam!
Oh, it's so good. No, welcome back to not the pipeline. Welcome back to Darren After the Credits, everybody. It's good to be back with TV to talk about. It's been since the last time we had consistently live TV. It's been about a month and a half, almost 2 months at this point. Back in July with The Acolytes and Doctor Who? Yeah, Doctor Who, The Acolytes. What else was on around that era? Something else big. Oh, Superman. My Adventures with Superman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. How can I forget that? I love that show now.
No, it's great. It's great. We've been craving some television, it's all been binge stuff. And it's really hard for me to be like, okay, Darth, watch these 8 episodes this week. It's like, well, that's a lot for anybody to just watch this throughout the week. So obviously we did Umbrella Academy a couple weeks ago. I did Cobra Kai back in August or July. I thought it was probably July as well. But no, we're back with The Penguin and Agatha all along. And obviously we're going to be going into both of those individually later on in the stream. Just overall, though, and obviously we're going to be talking, how's it been kind of jumping back into some weekly television? How was this week for you in terms of TV?
A double-edged sword. It was really, really nice. But then when the episode finished, I'm there like, no, I was binging a week ago. What is this? No. So, it's always funny adjusting from show to show. But it's good. I can live with it. I'm happy. How are you enjoying it?
I love the chase of a weekly TV show. I always have. It's obviously binge stuff is nice. It's nice to have it back, but I love the consistency, and I love, obviously Agatha's had some criticism by certain sections of the fan base, but in general, I think people are enjoying it. It's really cool to have a Marvel show and a DC show come out 2 days in between each other, and both be relatively approved by fans, being like, yeah, this is solid, and also this is really solid, and that's cool. And it's cool to celebrate these two fashions of the fan bases that we love so much.
I think that both shows did a phenomenal job, honestly. I think everybody's just picking at surface level nonsense. For example, one of the criticisms that Madeline Webb also faces, that Agatha Harkness is an old lady. Why are we seeing somebody so young and vibrant in the role? Maybe because the studio would like some longevity. For example, if they put in a Rosemary Harris, elderly lady, they might be a bit pushed for time, shall we say? Yeah. So leave them alone, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely this is the one where I do feel like there's less things for them to pick about. So they're arguing stupider things, and their whole facade is showing, where it's they're singing in Agatha, and I was like, that's the thing that got them greenlit. The Agatha All Along song is why the show exists. That's why we love Agatha. It's like a witchy show. Witches sing. That's their thing.
One of their whole things. Yeah.
Their whole thing. Hello, Cameron. How's it going? It's great to have you here. It's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, no, it is a very great feeling. And I think these two shows, and obviously again we're gonna be jumping into the nitty-gritty of these 2 episodes, but I think they do 2 very different things within the comic book TV community, which I think is really cool. I think Agatha is a very spunky, fun, a little bit cheesy comic book show, which we love, and then I feel like The Penguin features a more gritty, serious, very well written, well put together TV show. And I think those two things are great, and I love those two things individually, and we get both. We get to have our cake and eat it too, and it's great. It's a lot of fun.
For example, The Road. I cannot wait to be exploring that, because just alone how vibrant it is, and just full of color. I cannot wait to see it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be jumping into our first show here, and that will be Agatha. Oh, oops, no, hold on, wrong one. And it is Agatha All Along. Got a little spoiler thing in the corner. So, guys, if you have not seen the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, we are going to be talking spoilers. We are going to be getting into the more specifics of the episode as we go in here. So, again, if you have not seen it, leave and then come back once you're done with the episode. They're just kind of general opinions on the first 2 episodes of Agatha. Actually, first, before we get into opinions, did you like WandaVision? Were you a fan of like the original WandaVision show?
I was there every week, bait and hook. Okay, I was there. I was adamant. I was telling everybody, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in it. They have set him up so much that he cannot be in it at this point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then Paul Bettany, I was literally talking about this a few hours ago. Paul Bettany trolling everybody, saying, "Oh, there's a talented thespian actor who I've been waiting to work with for years. We had a roaring time together, and this and this and this." It was his goddamn self. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to swear, right? So, yes, I loved it, and Doctor Strange would have been in it, but he got pulled out of it. But yes, absolutely loved it. And then, so when this started, I was there like, hey, you were in WandaVision. You were in WandaVision. You were in WandaVision. You were in WandaVision. How is this happening? Because I was like, well, surely like the whole thing is obviously you were being punished, but now why is everybody else still being punished? But as they explained, they were just humoring her. Bless her. One of the, like, honestly, was it Catherine Hahn? I believe her name is. Mm-hmm. Just so funny. So funny. And it like, she has big funny moments, but it's the small things. You know what I mean? I think one of the best jokes in the show was that whole thing with the car.
Yeah.
And she was just there. She's like, I'm driving. And then she just fully sat down, ready to go for a whole journey, you know? And just the fact that, like, people would have been coming in to see that and just being like, well, I don't really want to pay off either woman. So I think I'm just going to have to keep the status quo going and not get involved. You know, just make sure that we're keeping the hamster alive.
No, for sure. I remember back when WandaVision first came out, and that I honestly have nostalgia for those 8 weeks that it was running. Because, you know, I have my criticism with it. I have some things I could say, hey, maybe this worked or this didn't or whatever. But, like, I think that was easily some of the funnest I've ever had as a Marvel fan, of just the theorizing week to week. I think this is the most, in the TV world that they've done, the most it feels like, oh, this is an event. Every week theorizing, coming up with what's going to happen next, the different theme songs week to week, just the new costumes and the new sitcom, like attire that they were building on. Like, I had so much fun with that show. It was such a vibe.
Yeah.
And then
their first TV show. It was their first show.
That was the first, like, Disney Plus Marvel show, and it was the first project after COVID. Really, like, obviously we had Black Widow as well, but it was really the first main project after such a long break without Marvel. So that was cool too. Like, it was like, we are back. We are back. But when they announced this Agatha show, I was like, it got a lot of hate. It got a lot of, like, what, there was a lot of, why are we doing this? Why are we doing an Agatha series? Why is this the character we're focusing on? And, you know, I definitely got a lot of those criticism. I can understand some of it, but I really wanted to go into it with a perspective of, let's give it a shot. Let's see what they have to offer. I'm always a big component of, like, maybe you didn't ask for this, but there's a lot of things we didn't ask for. We didn't ask for Peacemaker. We didn't ask for the Penguin. We didn't ask for 3 different Suicide Squad movies. We didn't ask for Doom Patrol.
Harley Quinn show.
Harley Quinn. Like, there's so many, especially in the comics. But I mean, no one asked for like Star Wars, and it's like the biggest movie of all time. Like, I this comes along a lot where I do think sometimes we need to give things a chance.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed these first 2 episodes. I had a really, really good time with this 2-episode premiere. And then kind of going into our kind of basic thoughts, while maybe not completely hooking me, I really like these first 2. I do think it has justified its existence within these first 2.
Okay.
Cameron said,
cool.
I like the Penguin premiere more than the Agatha premiere episodes, and that's fair.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting because that's tough, right? Because I think like there's I don't want to say like a quality element like with the Penguin because it's just shot different. Do you know what I mean? Like Agatha, you have the typical MCU look, the feel of it. You know what I mean? We're straight just back in that world. And Matt Reeves' Batman universe world is still new. It's still quite fresh and unexplored. So getting like a wider look at that, and I would argue with one of the better or best characters from that movie, one of the standouts, because I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. How the hell is that Colin Farrell? Do you know what I mean? Like, we all know Colin Farrell. We all love Colin Farrell, right? He's a great actor. You can spot the man a mile off. But the second he starts waddling up a staircase, he's gone.
Yeah. He gets lost in that role. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, he does it so well. And we're moving shows. Oh wait. We're moving shows. We're jumping all over the place. Yes.
But yeah, no, like I think it's definitely super valid if you like the Penguin more. I also think I like the Penguin more, but I think these 2 shows are doing 2 completely separate things. And like we're kind of talking about at the front, like they're not necessarily for the same audience, and that's why I love them paired together, because I think it's such fun having these drastically different toned, and it's weird because they are also kind of similar. Like they also kind of come from like these two semi, I won't say the Penguin's obscure, but these 2 characters that wouldn't typically be getting their own TV show, coming from a spin-off of a very successful comic book project, after being put off years because of COVID and stuff. Like there's a lot of similarities between these 2. It's very fun that they happen to be premiering at the same time.
It is like Barbenheimer though.
It is. It's great. I think it's really fun having those different tones at play. But yeah, no, I think what really kind of stood out to me, just to kind of get our conversation kicked off here, is like, this to me does feel different. Agatha to me does feel different than a lot of the Marvel Disney Plus shows we've had up until this point.
Interesting.
Because I feel like, I do think, apparently, it doesn't necessarily feel as much as the 6-episode events that we're used to with these Disney Plus shows, right? It feels more inherently on the side of like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or a Daredevil, just the way it's kind of paced, the way it's kind of put together. It doesn't feel like, okay, this is a movie. We're setting up a movie. To me, that first episode felt like a pilot of just like a regular TV show that you would find on ABC or NBC. One of my favorite, I saw a lot of people say they preferred episode 2 over episode 1. I think I personally preferred episode 1 because I love that we were able to live in her fantasy for like 20, 30 minutes. Like we needed to. And I feel like on another show, not just dissing the other shows, because I like a lot of these Disney Plus shows, they're so snappy. They're like, okay, we need to get it moving. We need to move. This, unlike most of the other shows, this is a 9-episode series. And most of them are 30. Like, they're the same runtime as all the other shows, but they have a longer amount of episodes. So this is probably going to end up being the longest Disney Plus show up until this point. And I feel like already you feel that, because they're able to take their time. They're ready to set the grounds, live in Agnes's, I guess, world for a little bit. And I think that's really cool.
I'm dying to see where they take this, right? Because I only have some like cursory knowledge of each of the people, like say like Agatha. Do you know what I mean? With some of the people, so having interactions with other people is what I know of her. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so it's not like a giant amount. So,
do you mean like inside the comics?
Yeah. Like I'm not sat down and reading.
Comic
like
wise, I know nothing. Comic wise, and that's kind of me with Marvel though. Like I know a little bit more about DC and or DC Comics than I do Marvel. But like, yeah, my only thing I know from Agatha at all is the WandaVision show. So I'm going in kind of completely blind in terms of the lore and stuff like that.
Which I think is great because like where there's no expectations, it's all solely like involved with the mystery. Do you know what I mean? And sitting there and questioning things. And I'm very excited by all of it, honestly. Because it's also made me want to do some sort of research, but I'm kind of like holding back off on that because of that. Like Blackheart and finding out her relationship, you know, that whole stuff with her rabbit, and then also potentially having a son that she sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like there's just like we keep getting depth to the character from WandaVision, like, and it's just giving so many more layers, and it's great. While also getting more characters that can be expanded upon, and they're getting their own stories, you know. And just quickly before I forget, I desperately want Mrs. Hart to have powers by the end of this.
I love her so much. Yeah. I love Mrs. Hart so much, and I have a theory that, if true, will break my heart, because I don't think she's really Mrs. Hart.
Oh.
I think Aubrey Plaza's character in disguise. I think
on
the piece of paper, I think she was like the Black Heart, and it's still like this can't work. So I'm wondering if I think when she went over to invite her, she's like, I have a party. She's like, I'm gonna go get my purse. I think when she went inside to get her purse, she was swapped out. She joined the party. She's playing dumb in front of all the friends, which I think will clear up one of the criticisms, because one of the criticisms I heard was like, well, why weren't the other witches able to identify she's not a real witch? Because she is. She's just playing along with the fact that she's not one. So, and that's how we bring Aubrey Plaza's characters within the group, and that's why the spell worked. That's why the road was activated. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Plus, there are like levels of witches. So if somebody's like a super low level witch, it might not even be like on the radar of somebody who's very powerful. But oh my god, that's amazing! I love that so much, and it'll be great because if like she, even if it wasn't that she was swapped out, like when she's gone to get her purse and it's just been her the whole time, then Agatha would have fallen to her own plan via like i.e. WandaVision. You know what I mean? Which would be amazing. It'd be amazing. Yeah. So please do make that the case, because I'm sitting there wondering, like, one of the things I was going to bring up is, well, Blackheart was on the page.
Yeah.
She's not in the thing. How is the thing open? You know? But
but that would also break my heart, because I love Mrs. Hart so much. She has easily been the highlight of the show for me. Just to realize, well, I don't take drugs, and her just like having like just like, are we singing? Like, she's the cutest. I love her so much.
Yeah, she can still bring it. Fun. Oh my god. How do you feel about the threat of the witches that turn up? Do you think like that what we saw is the representation of the coven that kind of works as a whole, or do you think that's just one piece and there are other witches that will come throughout the series?
I don't know, because are these characters in the comics? Because I have no like I'll be honest, I kind of chuckled a little when they said their name, because it just reminded me of like the Sinister Seven or like Sinister Six over at like, you know, within Spider-Man. I was like, that's kind of a silly name, but I don't know if they're in the comics, and if so, like, I kind of felt bad for laughing. But no, I'm curious if they are going to be like the villain? Like what is going to be the main threats of the show? Is it going to be the Coven 7? Is it going to be Aubrey Plaza's character? Is it going to be Mephisto? Like, who's going to be the big villain behind everything, pulling the
strings? Because this is another thing as well, is like the Salem witches were showing that they are inherently good witches, right? By their blue magic and stuff in WandaVision. So, like, if there is Mephisto, God hope he turns up, but I'm hoping it's not Sacha Baron Cohen after all of the stuff. And I also hope they didn't just take him out because of all that stuff. But anyway, I'm really hoping that Mephisto is there. But then it also like raises the question of, well, like, what are witches like in their natural state? Are they the good ones, or are they what everybody feared they were in Salem? You know, and praying to Mephisto as a part of their whole thing. You know, so I'm really interested to see how it all works.
I don't think Mephisto is part of the series, just because inherently it's rumored that he's the villain of Ironheart, which is going to be very interesting. This idea of like science versus magic or whatever it may be in that show. But yeah, no, I'll be very curious. But he said, I have enjoyed Agatha so far, but don't have any concrete opinions at the moment. That's fair. It's fair. It's still very early on. I would definitely say I think the mystery I'm most curious about is Joe Locke's character. I think that's the actor's name,
right?
As Teen. And going into it, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was confirmed he's a certain character from the comics that we've seen before. But the more we move into it, I'm like, I don't know, maybe we were wrong. Like maybe they're doing a thing or they're switching up on the fans where it's actually not this thing. It wouldn't be the first time they've done that, where it's like, oh, it's this character, but actually Marvel fans, we got you. It's actually this character now. So that would be interesting.
I would be happy if it was just a fresh character that they've added in. I'm fine with that. I don't mind if they switch it out and save that character with that, I get, for something else. But also to Cameron's comment, if it's a big enough person, they are not limited to just one project. And we are talking about the MCU devil here.
That is true. That is true. But here's the question: if it is just like a brand new character, which would be fine, totally fine to bring in a new character, why keep it a mystery? Why can't he say his name? Why can't he talk about his past? Like, there's clearly something with this character, and that I actually think is the more interesting. Like, I don't really care too much who it is. I'm more curious about why can't he say his name? Why can't Agatha hear anything about him? Who did this to you? You know, who put the spell on you? Or who is the spell even on? Is it on Teen, or is it on Agatha, or is it on both? Like, these are the questions I'm very curious about.
I do wonder if the spell is something that's inside him for his protection. So, say for example, if it is that character, then like a sins of the father thing can't come upon him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's just his own person.
Sure.
Although I will say, if that is something that happens to everybody, whoever put that on is going to make it really hard for this person to have a relationship.
Yeah.
Because any time that he sits there talking about himself in any way, everybody's going to be...
But that's the thing, though. Is it just for Agatha? Like, could he go up to any of the other characters and be like, hey, I'm blank, and then be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Because I don't know, like, it seems like it might be like an Agatha, because he has a boyfriend, right? Like, we know he's in a relationship. So that makes me think,
yes,
I don't know, maybe it's an Agatha thing. Like, maybe Agatha is part of Wanda's hex. I don't know. Because, like, okay, I'm going to say who we think it is, and then if you guys don't want to know, you can pause out or something like that. The rumor is that it's Billy Maximoff, right? Billy Maximoff, who we've seen in WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, one of the sons that was created by Wanda. That opens up a whole other thing. How is he here? If it's him, right? He doesn't technically, up until this point, exist. He's not real. He's not a real person. How is he here? What is he doing here? How did he get here? Is like those are the questions I'm curious about.
There would have to be like just tears, like that they'd be coming through. Either something akin to the Reality Stone or No Way Home, but on a smaller scale.
Mephisto creates him again.
Wow. Just to screw with everybody. That would be really
Mephisto
interesting.
in the show would be really funny. I do think that'd be a really funny full circle moment. If like all through the first show they were like, yes, it's him, it's not him, and then 5 years later it's like, oh, it actually is him this time. That's really funny.
It's funny because I was watching a video earlier on the Joker, and they were talking about like key points of his personality, like the lunacy, like, but also being like an agent of anarchy and chaos and things like that. But he also had like the light-hearted elements and things like that, and that could also be applied to Mephisto, I believe, because you could have a villain of like many different sides. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be a two-dimensional villain of just fire, red underwear, and threats. So you could have him on here, flirting, having fun with the witches, but then when he gets to Ironheart, just all chaos and malevolence and threats.
Sure. Yeah. What's your thoughts on just our overall cast of characters? I don't have our whole list of characters pulled up right in front of me at the moment, but we met episode 2 focused on putting together a large list of our coven, I guess, as you will, our coven of characters.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on kind of just the characters that we've seen just thus far?
Interesting. Some of the backstories felt a bit supernaturally, I cannot lie. Especially the lady with the candles. And her needing to be bailed out. That was just like, yeah, okay.
I did think it was very funny bringing cancel culture into the supernatural world.
Yeah. But yeah, no, good. I love Norm. I love the people of Westview. I really do. And I feel like we're not going to be getting them again after this. Even if we do get a season 2, because obviously Agatha's, I don't think she's going to be making Westview her coven.
It seems like from what I heard, it's a limited series, so yeah, it's like more of a one and done situation. But yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed getting to re-meet. Well, it's not even re-meet because it is still from the perspective of Agnes, but like getting really shout out for them getting all the cast from WandaVision to reprise their roles in her fantasy. And you were kind of talking about prior, but them all just kind of playing along with her fantasy, and Agatha, and shout out to Catherine Hahn because she is really, really good in the first half of the episode. Just this, Boston the stereotypical Boston cop who's like, all right, I'm gonna need to talk to all your people. When were you here then? And her. A lot of people called it cringe, but I really enjoyed her scene.
Oh no!
John Locke with the notebook is like, loser or lie. Like it is cringe, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cringe.
Yeah, it's literally the same, like, because Wanda did it, right? So it's the same as when she was portraying the shows that she was enjoying. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's done with the same kind of thing. So it makes sense that she's super hammy with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was just really fun to see. I already talked about, but that was some of the highlights of the show so far. It's just like her going through the town and her meeting the library, going to the library, and then obviously there's a real connection with Aubrey Plaza's character. They have a past. I kind of got the vibe maybe they're like exes. I
was thinking sisters, but okay.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I got this like.
Because I definitely think she killed her mum, as well as like the sacrifice of her son. I think the people in the coven were her family, at least one of them.
Okay. Okay, we'll see. We'll definitely see. But like those two, I'm a huge fan of just Aubrey Plaza in general, though. Like I think she always kills it in most things I've seen. I'm not gonna say I've seen a lot of things she's been in, but like every time I see her in something, I'm like, yes, she is a lot of fun. So seeing her in the MCU, and it's rumored that her character is going to be someone pretty big within Marvel Comics, lore, and it's rumored that she's going to carry on to other MCU projects after this.
I was gonna say, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, it's fine.
I was gonna say when you said earlier that this might not like this as much as this is a limited series. I think this might tip into both Ironheart and Doctor Strange.
Oh, I think it's going to set up a lot of things. I think for one, if Teen is who we think it is, if it is that big character, I think this sets up Young Avengers, which is why Ironheart hasn't come out sooner, because I think Agatha needs to come out before Ironheart, and probably why we haven't heard anything about the Young Avengers either. I think if she doesn't come back in this show, and we'll definitely dive into that in a second, I think they will at least set up Wanda's return in this show. I think the post-credit scene of the show is either her coming back or like the Darkhold doing something, and it's like, oh, it has Wanda's name on it, or it's teasing her return. But then that goes to my question: do you think Wanda's dead?
No. Plus, there are other versions of her, so we haven't seen the last of Wanda for sure. But as for our Wanda, they keep saying she's gone, but I don't know. I like. At the end of Doctor Strange 2, were his fingers still black?
I don't remember.
Because, like, they were saying, like, oh, look at your hands, Agatha. They're not black anymore, which means the Darkhold's gone and every copy of it's gone. But yeah, no, I still think there's hope for Wanda, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, I think it's safe to assume she will be back in the MCU. I guess then just the question is she still alive and she'll come back? Or did she die and then they bring her back? Or something happens where she gets like revived. I've even heard the theory from people where it's like the Scarlet Witch is dead, but Wanda survived, if that makes sense. Like something like that, where maybe it's a Wanda without her powers and she has to kind of reclaim that. There's obviously been those like fake leak type channels that are like, oh, there's a Wanda movie there's a Scarlet Witch movie in the works or whatever, and like I don't trust those accounts at all. I think that's full bullshit. But I could see a world where Wanda gets her own movie because she's such a popular character. Like her fan base on the internet is so strong. It would very much shock me if we don't see something from Wanda in some way, shape, or form in the future.
Plus, so like how we have Black Panther being Bust's avatar and Moon Knight being Khonshu's and Mark's fiance / what I forget her name, but she's now the avatar for Taweret, right? Sure. And everybody else. So like Wanda is the avatar for Chthon, right? So he could easily, from my understanding, bring her straight back because he's not going to want to lose his anchor into this reality.
Yeah, and it's also just like Scarlet Witch is such a powerful character. Like I feel like it's very hard to kill a character like that, especially with a bunch of rocks. Like I was like, I don't know. We'll see. 3W said there's a red spark at the end of Doctor Strange 2, means her powers were active, so she's not dead. Yeah, I like people took that statement like, oh, she's dead now. I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I see. This is kind of an interesting comment. She got reborn as a mutant, and her father's Magneto. Okay, so I think that is happening, but I think probably after Secret Wars. I do think post Secret Wars, I think Wanda will then be a mutant in that new timeline. I think Pietro's probably alive, and then they can do. So if we do like a Scarlet Witch movie, we could do like a Magneto family type movie, which I think would be really cool. Like you can have Wanda and Pietro and Polaris and Magneto. Like I think that'd be really, really cool if they went that direction.
Yeah. As long as they stay from the House of M stuff.
But yeah, I feel like these first two episodes, definitely set up episodes. I think especially episode one was kind of setting up Agatha's character. I think episode 2 was setting up the overall plot of what the show would be going for. And I think
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I think it works as a really good pilot. Like those first two together works for a very good pilot. And I do feel like I feel like you can watch these two and you can be like, okay, is this a show for me? Or is this something I'm not going to be checking out? I think they do a pretty good job at that. Is there anything we haven't talked about yet that you want to bring up or kind of?
Just that, as you said, it was a great idea to bring out both episodes because it gave us the emergence that we needed from Agnes. If we left it there, I think we would have lost a lot of people because the tone of the show wouldn't have come through, because that comes through in episode 2 after they got through the exposition of how we're here, which is needed. It is needed for continuity and just to make everybody clear, because a lot has happened, and a lot more is gonna happen, and I'm very, very excited. Everybody's done a great job so far, as we said. The song was great, and much in the same way as Korg's mate, the lady that became mayor of in New Bronsberg or Bronsberg, New Asgard.
Sure.
Meek, right? Where she was writing on the board in Love and Thunder, and that's basically the whole movie on the board. I'm pretty sure that song is basically the rest of the show. If not up until just before the finale. Just before the finale. And then I think then we'll get like real world consequences to everything else. I really wonder, because I think the road's going to take up a whole chunk of this show. What about you?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's going to be 2 episodes and done?
That's a good question. Like, where do we go for the remainder of these? Because we had 7 more episodes. So we have a good way to go still. But we're on the road now, right? So like we ended last episode, them being on the road, them going on that journey. I would say they're on the road for maybe the next 2 episodes. Maybe next episode is them kind of exploring the road. Maybe episode 3 or 4, is them maybe trying to get out, escaping. So I'd say 2 to 3 probably. I'd say probably 2 to 3 episodes is dedicated on the road. I think there's a lot of twists and turns that road can go, and again, I don't know anything really about the Witch's Road, so it's hard for me to theorize what they're going to do because I don't really know what it is yet. Like I feel like I fully don't exactly know what it is, but yeah, no, there's. Go ahead, sorry.
All right. So it says, "Seekest thou the road to all that's foul and fair? Gather sisters, fire, water, earth, and air. Darkest thou, wake thy power, earthly and divine. Burn and brew with covenant true, and glory shall be thine." Then we get the chorus. Marching ever forward, neath the wooded shrine. I stray not from the path. Someone's getting, obviously. Like, we're talking about a wood and a story. Like, somebody's definitely getting off that path. I hold death's hand in mine. Primal night giveth sight. Familiar by thy side. We haven't got one of those yet. Could they gather familiars while they're there? Like a Harry Potter shop just off in the woods? Or could that be some key as to who the teen is? Because I'm pretty sure Old Scratch didn't make it through that basement. Or Nick Scratch or whoever the rabbit's called.
Yeah.
Did he? Did he make it on the road?
I don't know. I didn't see him. Wait, didn't Teen pick him up? Didn't like Teen pick up the rabbit or no?
Maybe. Right?
Maybe.
So if one be gone, we carry on. Okay, so that's definitely showing that we're going to be losing people along the way.
We get one death for sure. Yeah.
We carry on, spirit as our guide. So either spirits from their past, spirits of witches, or the person that they've lost, maybe. We get the chorus again. blood and tears and bone, maiden mother crone, blah blah blah. And the road is wild and wicked, winding through the wood, where all that's wrong is right and all that's bad is good. That could just be how people see witches, Through many miles of tricks and trials, we'll wander high and low. Tame your fears, a door appears, the time has come to go. And then, So okay, maybe not 7 episodes of the road then.
No.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, no. I think we go back at some point for sure. Or the road leads us somewhere else. Like the road leads us elsewhere. I would also argue, I think we might get a flashback episode at some point as well. I think we're going to get a flashback episode with exploring the Agatha and I think her name's Rio. I think Aubrey Plaza's name Rio.
Oh yeah, Black Card.
Rio, whatever. Yeah, like I think we're going to, or just exploring her path because Agatha has she's hundreds of years old. Like there's so much of her. We saw a little bit of her backflash in WandaVision, but there's a lot more to her story in the past. I think we need to unravel. So it'll be interesting for sure. Here's my next question though. How long do we go until Agatha gets her powers back? Or a lot of them get their powers, because a lot of them are powerless at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the question. Do you think that the Candle Witch, I'm blanking on her name, so I'm going to have a quick gander. So it's Ria Vidal, which is Aubrey Plaza, and then we got Jennifer Kale with the... Oh my God, I forgot Alice Wu Gulliver as well.
Yeah.
The lady that was in Supernatural. I feel like she's going to be the one to go.
You think she dies?
Yeah, if I'm honest. Oh, no, wait. She's 8 episodes, but who knows? It says she's in 8 episodes, but we don't know that.
She could just be credited for all of them.
Yeah.
She could just be like, she's a series regular, so they just pay her for all of it. I could see one of them betraying us, like one of them betraying the team for their own selfish reasons. Or maybe not. I don't know. They're all witches, so any of them could. Like I feel like,
yeah, for sure. Because Agatha was there waiting to get blasted by all of them, just so she could sit in power. Within seconds. That was her plan the whole time. It was just ridiculous. And the fact that like she has sold this lie that she's been down the road before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she has, because like she kept breaking it every possible moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am going to be very curious to see what's Agatha's journey going to be through this show. Like, obviously, like she is the protagonist of our series, so she's going to have some kind of overarching plot or narrative to her. Is it just going to be why does she want to go down the road? Why does she need her powers back? What's her ultimate goal in all this? Is it just power for the sake of power? And if it is, what's her arc going to be within it? Like, why does she want it so badly? What motivates her to do what she's doing? That's the thing I'm going to be most curious about. And if I think the show will stick the landing throughout it all. Because obviously, these shows have had good starts. You know, I liked the start to, Miss Marvel, and then I thought it fell off a little bit. I liked the first episode of Secret Invasion, that I thought it fell off. Like, I think they've all had good starts. I'm curious to see how the show maintains it for the rest of the series. Yeah. So
I'm also curious. Sorry to keep going on. I know we wanted to switch to Batman.
No, that's okay.
Is why again, like what her not just like her goal now, but what was her goal back then? Do you mean because is her purple power natural, or is that why she had to sacrifice her son? Do you mean? Yeah. Are we gonna and who did she sacrifice it to? Because this could be another way we get to see Mephisto before Ironheart. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because otherwise you're gonna have to introduce either Lady Death, which is definitely a Thanos place to introduce him, not like an Agatha show that no one's gonna like half of the fans aren't gonna watch because somebody called it a gay bomb.
It's gonna be Hela, right? because that's kind of their version of death, right?
Or Hecate, what her name is, the witch, the goddess of the witches thing, that everybody prays to. You know, it could be her, but they're gonna have to make a choice.
Yeah, I'm very curious to kind of see where some of these things are. And again, I think the show did a good job at setting up some of these mysteries, setting up some of these ideas. I think that's what a good pilot does. It asks its audience questions, and it's like, okay, these things are in place. Where are we going to go with them? So, yeah.
Also, how did you feel about that rule before we finish?
Oh, about the witches, about there being a witch, every 30 miles or whatever?
Miles? Every 3 miles or something, there's like a gathering of witches, a gathering of women that are just powerful enough to create some kind of coven. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was watching the Blind Wave reaction to this, and they were really talking about. I didn't even consider it, but like that can't be true. Like they were talking about like, what if you got planted in Antarctica? Would you still be 3 miles away from a witch? Like, to me, that line feels like it's almost like a myth within the witches that they just say that aren't true. You know, like we have these type of things. We're like, oh yeah, if you do this, you can do this. I was like, really? No, not really, but we just say it. So maybe it's like a very estimated guess, or like a very over exaggerated number. Just a way to say like,
can't be a science. They cannot be a science.
Yeah, no, 100%. I guess it's just a way to say there's more witches than you would think. Just to be like, well, you know, it's like out of every 10 people, maybe there's one witch or whatever. Like, there's just, you know.
Same with same with all the people that can like access Eldritch magic. You know, because you've got Mr. Benjamin something Benjamin, the guy from Law and Order that was in the wheelchair but not from Doctor Strange. You know, like you got him, and then the guy from She-Hulk. You know, that tried turning Kamatage into a frat house. You know, like there's a whole gamut of people that can access it. It's not just like the big time superheroes. You know.
Yeah, and like I bet that would also include like people who don't know they have like a touch of witchiness to them. They're just like they were living their normal life and they just got like a 1% bit of magic in them or whatever it may be. But I don't know. I bet they didn't think too much about that line when they said it, and we're just analyzing it way too much, which is fine. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll get back to that question. I don't know.
Mr. 3-Dub.
Okay. Let's do it.
We had the Salem witch trials, right? And then after that, as you know, they would say their kind went into hiding, which is why you would find actual reportings / sightings of such scarce.
Yeah, witches aren't going to be outing themselves too much because it hasn't gone well for them in the past.
No, and also there's double standard here, right? Because you've got Doctor Strange rocking around on high in a cape. Yeah. Okay, everybody loving him off, but the second somebody says I'm a witch, right? What the hell?
It's all about marketing in this world. Marvel's all about marketing their heroes. Because Spider-Man can swing around the city and people love him, but then call someone a mutant and they're getting shot. Like it's all about marketing, man. But like to be fair, that is an interesting element though, because like now these witches live in a world where there is the Avengers and there is like, you know, Fantastic Four and you know these characters are coming in. Like I bet they probably could live better in today's world than they would have 300 years ago or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But and maybe they address that. Like maybe we get some name drops of heroes, or that's a conversation that gets had later on. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's be real. Scarlet Witch has not done much for the community. You know?
She hasn't spoken up for her people. And to the point, like I don't even think of her as a witch. Like it was until the show comes, I was like, oh, I guess she is technically a witch. Like I don't think about it like that. But
she's the witch. She's just not as old as all the other witches.
Yeah. She's a very young one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's all about marketing. It's all about marketing. People love wizards. People hate witches.
Yeah, it's bad.
Those sexist people. How dare they? That being said,
everywhere. Oh, shocking.
That being said, let's talk about the straight white man of the week. Oh my gosh. So yeah, obviously the Penguin is the next installment in the Batman saga that Matt Reeves is creating over at DC, under the James Gunn Elseworld division. Just like our Agatha discussion, let's just start with our opinions on the Batman, which obviously you said that you just rewatched last night. You said, right, or a couple of days ago? You said
last night. Yeah, yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was your opinion on that movie?
Very, very good. Better than I remember. Was it the door? No. Sorry. Better than I remember. There is one very big problem I have. Okay. Two. Okay. One, Batman crosses a line. Okay. He goes from detective to voyeur, and that's just not okay. Okay. The second that he saw that Catwoman was starting to undress, his binoculars should have been back to the woman in distress. Okay, not just staying on Selena Kyle because they might have a child that like sometime that. No, that's still not okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The second was just the Joker. I really hope they
canceled. Batman is canceled.
Yeah. Shame on you, Bruce Wayne. But I also I really hope they retcon the Joker because I did not like their Joker.
Okay.
From the little bit that we saw.
It was a deleted scene, so hopefully it's hopefully it I don't know. I mean I'm down to see more of him, but we'll see. I do hope they wait for the Joker though. I don't need Joker in Matt Reeves' universe anytime soon.
He was like at the end of the movie, like actual movie as well, talking to Riddler and making him feel better.
Sure.
So he is there.
That's fair, I guess. That's fair. But yeah, no, I don't. They say it's a trilogy, and if that's the case, I don't need to see him at all. Like Joker is like if they go beyond the 3 movies, I'm like, okay, he can be in Batman 4 or 5, that's fine. But for the trilogy, I want them to focus on. I mean, Riddler already isn't like a super unknown villain. For these next 2, I want people who have never been in a movie or haven't been done well in a movie. So like if you do Mr. Freeze, I'm like, okay, because he hasn't really had like a.
Okay, now this is interesting as to which one of this could be. And it's me. Has Darren frozen or have I frozen? Is it me?
A great out.
Okay, I froze them for a moment.
I'm back.
Oh, it was you. Okay,
right.
Me. See, this is exactly what we spoke about before we were recording, because I was like, I'm going to start getting into a whole thing and then realize that I've just been talking to nobody. So I'm just going to check that it's me, and nobody was letting me know. So that's as far as I got.
Okay. What was the last thing I said? Because I started going off on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mr. Freeze has not been portrayed well.
Yes. I like the pun hitting Mr. Freeze. I think that's fun, but I'd like a proper one in live action. If that's over on Matt Reeves' universe, or if that's in James Gunn universe, one of them do it. Just you have 2 Batman movies, one of them can be Mr. Freeze.
I think as deep and emotional as the Mr. Freeze story gets, I think he still is a fantastical villain. So I think like a super comic booky area is better for him, not something like Matt Reeves is doing where he's trying to Nolan the thing and keep it like more realistic and grounded, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And like, going into this, the Penguin series, I was very excited to kind of get to at least see firsthand the groundedness that this universe was going to be hitting. Like, I think the Batman is a great jumping point for their universe, but I think the Penguin was going to be a very fun time to explore the tone and explore how far the show is actually willing to go and turn. And what's the... Did I freeze again? Okay, no. Okay.
Just that's hilarious though. That joke is hilarious.
But I was very just excited to see more of this world, where we can then be okay. This is the status quo going into part 2 or any other spinoffs we get going forward. What was your general kind of opinion on the first episode of The Penguin?
Absolutely incredible. We keep getting extra layers to this man, and I'm loving all of them. You know. Just to see some of his motivations and how different he is. Like his foot alone. Oh my God. Oh my God. Right?
Gotham could never do that.
Dude, right? Like that's got to be trench footing, right, with all the floods as well. But like the fact that he is so just insane with his dedication to what he is doing. Like he is constantly on the move, you know?
Yeah.
Like constantly here, constantly there. And it's just like fair play, dude. Because if I had that, people would be wheeling me around, or I would just be screaming, cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. Because I wouldn't be walking everywhere like he's doing. And he's doing stairs. You know?
And he doesn't see himself, or he doesn't at least want to see himself as disabled, because you have that scene on the bus where there's the spot for disabled individuals, and he sits with everybody else because he thinks of himself like that. Yeah. And he's a character that doesn't... He's such an insecure character, and I think that's such a fun thing to dive into. Like, we jump very early in the episode, like I didn't say it prior, spoilers for the Penguin if you guys have not seen it already. But he shoots someone just for laughing at him. He was like, this is my dream. You're laughing at my dream. You're dead. I'm killing you on the spot. And I loved his reaction. Just being like, oh shit. I didn't mean to do that. I fucked up. Oh no. And that whole scene is fantastic. I actually think that might be one of the best scenes of the episode. That, you know, you're kind of jumping into things, and you know that dialogue with Falcone's son. Again, I don't have names memorized for the show either. I probably will for next week, guys. I'll write all the names down on a paper. But he's having that dialogue, and he's clearly trying to now take control now that Falcone is dead. And that scene was so powerful. I'm a big sucker for just a really well done dialogue scene. Like a really good, well-written scene with just two characters talking. Can you make a good scene with just two characters having a conversation? And scenes like that is so good. So like that scene with the son, he's just like, you think you're him? You think, you know, like this belongs to you? And just like, which is again very stupid of him. Like he clearly didn't know what he was doing. He talking to someone at his caliber, you know, a mob boss of his caliber like that was idiotic in my opinion. I feel his father probably wouldn't have made that move, or at least his father had enough respect where he could have. Where he was this new kid on the block.
Yeah,
he's a nepo baby. Yeah, he just came in. It's like, well, my father dead, so it's mine now, I guess. Like, no.
Yeah, he could have done that if he had his security detail, but he left them behind. You know, which is like why he ended up where he did. I gotta say, I agree, because it was a very cat and mouse kind of conversation, and a precursor to what we get later on with the sister, which was very, 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 very good. But the thing I liked most about the conversation that they had was the innocence in his dream to just be a respected member of the community that just handles everybody's problems. And most of the time, it sounds genuinely in just the nicest way. You know what I mean? Like, you need some money, I got your back. You need some sort of help carrying something, I got you. You know what I mean? Like, they're just good guys, you know? And that's what I genuinely seems like what he wants to be, and everybody else is either ridiculing him and forcing him to wear this armor and be aggressive and violent, or it's his own damn mother saying, "You're the biggest, baddest boy in Brooklyn," or sorry, Gotham. Just looks like just looks like wherever. So like, yeah, the biggest guy in Gotham. So you don't take no crap, you know. Everybody's pushing him, and then his idol as well is that. Do you know what I mean? Like, say for example, you could have like an idol that's a basketball player, but be pushed in your career as an accountant or architect or anything, you know. But when your idol is that, and everybody else is telling you to be that, and he's so insecure, all he wants is to be like. You know what I mean? It's so good. It's so good.
I was really shocked. I'll be honest, kind of going into the show, I was very... I always thought it was going to be good. I always thought it was going to be a great show. It's Matt Reeves. He makes great stuff. But I was like, I don't know if I'll like this show, because it's not the typical show I'll be watching. Like, I didn't like Sopranos and like these mob, you know, like these mob movies or these gangster type films or TV shows just aren't typically my cup of tea. So I was like, okay, I watch it. But going in, I felt like, all right, this is kind of like homework, you know, just because it's in the genre of stuff we talk about. But I was shocked how much I enjoyed it. And I was shocked how relatable the character of the Penguin was. And like you relate to him instantly. And he's such a I understand you. I understand. And he's a very weirdly likable character. He might be the most likable like mob boss type character I've ever seen. Because he's just like a chill dude who's trying to like build up his business and his empire. He's just a man who has a dream. And yeah, from the scene with his mom was crazy good. Just the slow execution of like, oh, she doesn't know anything about his life and blah blah blah. And the more you go in, it's like, oh, he's like this because of her. He built who he is. I loved her scream. I loved her like, who is this? Who's in my house? Get out of my
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
I'm so glad it stopped where it did, because it was reaching a line of where I was expecting something that shouldn't be said coming out, you know what I mean? But they didn't. Thank Christ.
Oh, yeah.
They just kept it as, oh no, there's someone in my house. So yeah.
Yeah, and the show feels
They did try and make her feel senile, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she's clearly on like the fence of like maybe not all the way there. Like she mentions kids in the bath when there's no kids there. So it's like, oh. So it seems
she
like
meant
she's not...
him. She meant him and his brothers.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it, you know?
Yeah, no. And I think this show does a great job. I'm probably going to be all over the place with this section of it. But like, I think this show does a great job with writing its characters in such a short amount of time. Like, we spent maybe 3 minutes with the mom, and she's not necessarily a likable character, because she's, you know, she's probably a bad mother. But like, you kind of know who she is instantly, and you kind of get her vibe, and you like watching her. Falcone's son, we saw him for 2 minutes right before he got shot, but also I felt like I knew that character. Like, I feel like oh yeah, that's him. Like, I feel like he has a full character profile pretty instantly. And then you have like, I think her name's Sophia, right? Sophia Falcone. That's the daughter, right? Sophia, is that the daughter's name? Sophia? Yeah. Her character is insanely good. Like, I think she might be one of the highlights of the show. You have Victor, which I love Victor. I adore Victor already. Obviously, the Penguin's great. Like, they have nailed these characters down instantly. And I think this might be one of my favorite TV pilots I've seen in a while. I'm trying to think back.
Hang on.
This year. I'm trying to think back to this year. Like, is there any TV pilot I liked more than the Penguin?
Carmine Falcone. That's the guy that died in the Batman, right?
Yes. These are his kids. Yeah.
Right. So apparently he's being recast, or there's another person with his name.
I did hear about a recasting. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting. It's Mark Strong though, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be good. It's just going to have a very different feel to it.
Yeah.
I really loved seeing that Salvatore Moroni was played by Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
The handsome devil.
Shout out to Clancy Brown just playing every villain at DC. He was in The Flash. He was in Justice League, the series. He's in probably other stuff. I don't know. I mean, he was Lex Luthor, man. Like,
he's just ready to go.
Yeah. Three Dubs asks, so you don't like The Godfather? I haven't seen The Godfather. That's one of the big ones that I haven't seen.
Good movie.
But I don't really have an interest inherently in it. So, but maybe I will someday. I don't know. But no, it's a lot of fun. Go ahead.
Victor, little Victor.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Right, because like yesterday we had, when I was watching the Batman, we had Tim Drake from Titans as everyone like, oh my god, this kid's gonna be Robin. He's gonna be Robin. It's gonna be great. And then he turns out to be Robin, which is just beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
And then this kid, I'm wondering, it's making me want to just check on his name actually, whether he becomes anybody in the comics, because I have high hopes for this kid. He is awesome.
I was looking it up a little bit, and it seems like it is an original character for the show. Because I had the same thought. I was going through and I was like, Victor, blah blah blah, and it just came up the Penguin stuff. So
okay,
but like I was very curious about this because early reviews I was listening to, like I was listening to like Koi Genre and stuff like that, talking about the series, and they had mentioned that the Penguin has his own version of Robin in the show, and I was like,
oh my god.
I was like, what the hell does that mean? And the first episode, I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. I get how, you know, this parallel to what Batman would typically have with his Robins. You would kind of have this dynamic with Penguin and Victor. This almost instant, like almost like father-son dynamic that they have instantly. This kind of partner in crime that they have. It like to the point I almost wonder if it's a thing where like, well, maybe he doesn't want to do Robin in his universe, and this is kind of his way of doing that dynamic. Because I'll be honest, I do have a hard time seeing them pulling off Robin in this universe.
Absolutely,
like if they are so dedicated to keep it grounded and keep it, you know, to this extent, I think having a kid in a, you know, yellow and blue spandex suits, like I think just a man, like Robin, and like inherently is goofy as hell. Like this vigilante adopting children as his like proteges is goofy. It's a goofy concept, and I love it. I just can't see Matt Reeves doing it.
No, I know. Can you imagine like sending out an 8 or 10-year-old to go beat up fully grown men just because he can?
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like there's like Batman is still silly on its own. Like I was talking about this on Eric Shim the other day. Like Batman in general, there is an extension of displays you have to have with Batman. But technically, you could have a man dressed like a bat and try and fight crime. Like that technically could happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like he would die instantly. Like he would get caught by the cops. But that could happen. Where thus things like Robin, I just feel like it'd be harder, which I don't necessarily need the realism in this universe. Like I that's like I get that's what he's going for. I don't need it, but I get that's what he's going for. But yeah, no.
Realism or not, right? Infinite Crisis said it. It is child endangerment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it is a full crime. You're a vigilante. You know what I mean? Like there are some things that you can bend the thing on, but child endangerment is not one of them. Like that's a hard line you got to keep. Okay, like just yeah.
And also just like, oh my gosh, there's that really good, to play the other side. There's that really good scene from like Young Justice when he's talking about why he put Robin and stuff into the spotlight, and it's like, well, like why? For they can become just like you. It's like, well, no, for they don't come just like me. They can deal with their grief better. But I was like, okay, that's valid. But you could also just give them therapy. Like, I feel like there's
Yeah.
other ways of addressing their trauma.
Other than beating up like criminals. You know what I mean? Like, just get them a punching bag.
Yeah. But also, like, there is parallels from my understanding to Victor and Jason Todd, because Jason Todd origin starts from him trying to steal the Batmobile, and Victor starts here with the Penguin by trying to steal his car. So there's some nice little parallel Easter eggs.
The same thing. The rims, it's great. That is, I genuinely didn't think of that. It's actually really, really good. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, their dynamic. I think Victor probably might be my favorite character so far, just because he's so relatable. He's such a fun kid. Man, he's like his performance when he's first being the Penguin, and he's so terrified that he can't speak. Like he has this like unbeatable fear stutter. It's like whoa, like that performance was so real, and just like I don't know. I think like Oz's reaction to him throughout this entire episode is like he's so drawn to him instantly, but he also so fed up with this whole thing the entire episode too, and it's that dynamic that's really fun to watch. But it's very endearing seeing how fast he kind of grew, how fast this kid grew on him.
How do you think it's gonna like end up, right? Because the Penguin is a good guy, like asterisk, right, in Gotham, right, in the way that he wants the best for his community, and it's just he just wants to be the one doing it. Do you know what I mean? So there's like there's a vanity issue there, right? But he also absolutely has zero regard for other people's lives if it doesn't benefit him or his cause. You know what I mean? Or if it gets in the way, boof, that person matters not a thing, you know? So he has room to grow. And we have Vic, who is just a kid that's trying to survive, down on his luck, right? But is actually a good person, you know? So, like, do you think they're going to, like, meet in the middle? Do you think Vic is going to end up as his right-hand man? Like permanently for like when we get to Batman down the road, potentially if they do like a jump in a few years, like do you think he's going to be like the one coordinating Penguin stuff for him, or do you think he's going to go the other way and see all of the ruin that is going to come from Gotham and what I'm predicting is Scarecrow stuff, but I don't know. Or Bane's, but no one wants to give Bane everything. You know what I mean? I don't want Bane. I want to be sharing. So I think it's Scarecrow's. Like he could see how that's going to go, and then he could end up as Gordon's protege.
Oh, I'll be honest. Early predictions, because it is still very early.
Very
don't
early.
really narrative yet. I don't think he's surviving the show. If I'm
honest.
No. I'm putting that out there now. I don't want it to because I do really like it. I do think since this is a limited series, they can do really anything they want. I do think he's going to get fully into the system. I do think we're going to not necessarily fully get corrupted by the system, but I think he's going to get, because like right now he doesn't really know what he's doing. He could only cut the finger off, like all these things. I do think we're going to see him get deeper and deeper into this world. And I do think he will die not by Penguin's hands, but by the world the Penguin brought him into, kind of thing. And I think it will, like I do wonder if by the end of the Penguin TV show he is a darker character, like he is a more, because like you said, he is kind of, so far he's not a good guy. He kills people. He doesn't, like he's a villain still, but he's kind of a nice, like he's trying to have some sort of moral system. Like he didn't kill Victor, where like maybe next time he would, right? Like maybe next time he'll close himself off. So I think by the time we get to the Batman Part 2, we're going to see a darker version of the Penguin.
Ooh, okay.
Which I hate that because I do love Victor, and it will be heartbreaking. We will cry. It will.
So you mean like so you say like have his dream ripped away. So like he's forced on the offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I do like that idea actually. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Wow.
I don't know. I hate kind of pulling off these sad theories today. But
what's interesting as well, right, is to give us the story that they're giving us. They've retconned the Penguin backstory, and they're giving us a different one as to where he's not one of the founding families of Gotham.
Yeah,
there's just like that the Elliots and the Arkhams and the Waynes.
Yeah, like a low income guy that's kind of coming up from the surface. It's like, yeah, he grew up with nothing, and he's had to fight for everything he's got. And I guess the more I think about it, it is kind of like Jason Todd. Like that dynamic between Bruce Wayne and Jason Todd, kind of similar. Like the rich boy who has everything versus the new kid that had nothing coming into wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you kill Vic, that's also like Jason Todd.
Oh yeah, not with a crowbar.
No, well,
oh my god, he nearly got with the crowbar, didn't he?
Yeah, Penguin had the crowbar. He's like, look at the sunset.
Yeah. Oh wow.
He gets killed by the Joker. We know for sure now. It's gonna.
Oh, I have to say though, as much as we'd lose Colin Farrell in the morph that becomes the Penguin, like because he steps into that role so goddamn well, it's so rare to see. You don't see it often. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like an Andy Serkis thing or a Christopher Lee thing, you know, where like it's generational that that talent can be had.
Oh, 100%. Like I don't know if he can be my favorite Penguin just because the Gotham Penguin is so ingrained into my brain at this point. But like, I do think he will be like the Penguin of this generation. Like, I feel like going forward, like Heath Ledger Joker, and like a Christopher Reeves Superman. Like, I do think he will be the Penguin. I think that might be one of his standout roles for the rest of his career. Just the way he carries himself within the show, like he carries himself and he steals every scene he's in, like just the way he walks, the way he speaks, the way he gives his performances within these scenes. It's so unbelievably good. Like it's so cool to see.
I have to say as well, Kristen Milioti. Wow.
Yeah.
What a surprise. Yeah. Was not expecting that performance from her, honestly. When I saw like her in the trailer, the most I expected was like some kind of love interest for the Penguin, possibly.
Oh, sure.
Not like the full rival of the show. And
yeah, she's the antagonist almost. Yeah.
Wow. She held it. That dinner scene and then the scene in the greenhouse. Yeah. Wow. For such I want to say slight woman, a very, very petite woman, like not much in the way of a frame at all. My God, did you feel the threat and the presence? And not just because there were guys behind her. Like, it was all her. The shadow that she was casting over the goddamn Penguin, you felt it. You felt it. It was amazing.
And again, it's so interesting because she is, like, pretty valid in her actions at the moment. Like, she's just trying to, like, justify her dead brother. And not to switch over to Colin Farrell, but I love the scene, and I think this proves how good Colin Farrell is. And then we can go back to Sophia in a second. But like when she's like, okay, you did this, and like he didn't show up to, he went to your club, and then you shared your plans, and I can only see you doing this or that, and you're like, well, he's cooked. He got her, and then he squirms out of it, and he somehow convinces me he didn't do it. I saw him do it, and I'm like, he's innocent. That all adds up. That's crazy. So I think Colin Farrell is so good. But no, absolutely. Sophia, I think, is it's so cool to see like actors playing off of each other in such a fun way, and like that scene when they're torturing him and he's like, it has to be you, and then she goes out with the car and she's just so frustrated, and I think it's so fun to see like she feels like a very capable character, but she's also leaning on the side of seemingly slightly insane because she's in Arkham. You know, she's going through stuff. I'm excited to see maybe more of that era, like how she got in Arkham. Some of her things in Arkham. There was once kind of a pitch for like an Arkham TV show, so maybe this was supposed to be almost like a backdoor pilot.
Needs to happen.
But no, she's great. She's incredible. I think she could, if she is the true on villain of the show, which I'm not sure if it'll be him or if it'll be Mr. Krabs' character. I'm blanking on his name right now. Oh my gosh. Lex Luthor.
Salvatore Moroni.
Yes. Yeah, I think I don't know if it'll be her or him or both, because it's definitely her pitting those two against each other, which is such cool writing. Where it's like, I think
they're going to be the way that the purple jumpsuit gang was used in Hawkeye.
Yeah,
you know.
But the writing of how they did it was so satisfying. Where like he's pitching it to her that it's like, oh yeah, well he's back and he's causing some issues, and then it's him. He's like, yeah, we got to take her out. She's the problem. So now they're going to be butting heads against each other. He's going to be friends of both of those. So when they both fall, he'll be the one on top. And it's like, this is so much fun. Although he probably... Go ahead.
Sorry, go on. No,
I was just going to say, he probably didn't even need to speak to him himself, because I feel like she would have done the work anyway, right? Like if she saw the evidence with the ring, or with the chopped off hand and the ring and stuff, like she would have just gone after him, and then he would have retaliated. I feel like that puts him in a better spot, because now he knows that he's playing his side, and he could be like, whoa, he talked to me, and he's working for me now, not you. Like I feel like that might be some of his downfall there, but
especially since there should be CCTV in that place to prove that what he's saying.
Yeah, they were talking kind of loud, actually. I was like, maybe you should keep your voice down, buddy.
Yeah. There's a real confidence at the level that they're at. It's crazy.
Maybe he owns the jail. I don't know.
I was gonna say something a second ago.
No.
It's my fault. It's my fault. Who do you think? Do you think that the narcotic, shall we say, do you think that is specific to a character that is going to be introduced, or do you think that is just a MacGuffin for the story to go on?
On which part again?
The narcotic that was teased by Falcone's kid.
Yeah, their like secret plan, their like secret mission. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going to take that, because obviously, that was his plan that he came up with his sister. Penguin kind of stole it, kind of ran with his own, took it as his own, and is going to like fundamentally change the hierarchy of the DC universe or whatever. Whatever it is. But I mean, that's a good question. Like, is it like you're saying? Is it like the Penguin gas or something, or is it like? Yeah, it could be. I mean, or not Penguin gas. I'm sorry, the Scarecrow gas. Like maybe it's the Scarecrow gas as you're like, that's the drug.
I could not stop thinking about Penguin spotting.
Yeah, I don't need to see Colin Farrell's gas. That's we already heard about his penis. I don't need to hear about anything else. Did you not hear about that? The whole penis thing. Apparently, apparently Colin Farrell wore a penguin penis on set of the Batman that had like a beak or whatever. He said no one could tell it was on, but he wore a prosthetic penis on set.
All right.
I just lost any viewer that just joined. They're like, well, we're out of here. How's it going, defunct? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not disgusted by the Penguin.
since we're on that topic, I was gonna wait, but I find it very interesting that both shows had nudity this week, but one of them was about empowerment and freedom and strength, and the other one was to ridicule and shame and weaken, and they were both used very differently.
And one was one was in controversy and the other one wasn't. I bet you can assume which one people had a problem with. I bet you can assume. No, for sure. And that's a whole thing where I'm like, guys, Agatha's TV-14. It's not made for kids. It's not a show made for children. Literally, the last Marvel project was Deadpool and Wolverine. Marvel is no longer just for the kids now, guys. Be adults. You can see an ass cheek. It's fine. You're fine.
I bet you didn't, mate. I bet you bloody didn't.
I bet you didn't. Absolutely. Penguin's prosthetic for the win. That's funny. But yeah, no. I do want to read out some of these comments just really quick. Also, happy Batman Day. It is Batman Day. I feel like we didn't get there wasn't much marketing for Batman Day. Usually a week before, everyone's like, it's Batman Day this week. And today I was like, oh, it's just Batman Day. Do you have a favorite Batman? Just in fiction?
It's hard to pick one, honestly, because it depends what kind of mood you're in. I think there's truly a Batman
favorite one outside of Kevin Conroy, because I feel like he's the standard usually.
Yeah. Okay. Michael Keaton.
Oh, Michael Keaton. Okay.
Yeah. But Ben Affleck did really good. I feel so bad that he kept getting crapped on because he did a really good job.
I think for me...
Sorry, my one and only.
Hello, how's it going? I sometimes say David from Gotham just because I got to spend 10 seasons with that guy. I spent 100 episodes with his version of Bruce Wayne. I'm like... I feel like in live action, I've never felt that. I feel like I guess outside of the classic TV show Batman, we kind of got that. But I feel like typically we haven't got to spend time with a live action Batman like you would with Kevin Conroy. And I am very much hoping that's what I'm going to finally get with the DCU Batman. I'm hoping I get to spend 10, 12, 15 years with our new Batman. Or maybe even Robert Pattinson. I don't know the extent that he's going to be. Robert Pattinson's up there for me, though. It would be Ben Affleck. Really good. He is really good. Ben Affleck, I think, could have been my favorite, but I don't that. That might be my favorite casting for a Batman. I think Ben Affleck is terrific. I just feel like he didn't get to be Batman. He just I feel like he didn't get the opportunity.
I did love that his fights were very comic booky, and the action was always outlandish. Because I don't care how many tires he rolls, there's no way he was doing all the stuff that he was doing. I mean, prep time or not, you know what I mean? So they did become very Batman-y, especially in the Flash movie. It was really cool. But his warehouse. Sorry,
go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you.
Just at his warehouse scene in BBS, untouchable. I mean, that's just awesome.
Sure. Cameron is responding to our thing from earlier. I remember the Joker coming back to the second Batman movie, so I assume you're talking about the Batman 2. If that's true, I haven't seen it, but I think that might just be the overall rumor at the moment that he's in the second one. And I mean, as long as he's not the main villain, I'm fine. If he just wants to, I don't know, be in the jail cell still and we touch back with him, maybe. But
so what if basically yesterday when I was watching the Batman, it finished with the Riddler being upset, and then the Joker was like, Gotham loves a comeback story. So he's like, oh wait, it isn't over, you know? He's like, hey, let's be friends. So they could do something where Riddler becomes the secondary villain, and the Joker becomes the main villain, and they could be like a team.
Sure.
How would you feel
If
about
that's what they do, fine. I think I'm just jokered out at the moment. I think I'm just like, I don't know, and I think I wouldn't feel this. I just think there's so many great villains that haven't been portrayed in live action before, or haven't been portrayed as much as characters like the Batman and the Riddler and Scarecrow, that I would just love to see. Like, I don't know. I again, if it's down the line, that's fair enough. But like, we now have 2 Joker movies. He was in, he was in the Dark Knight trilogy, and he's in Harley Quinn show, and he's in most of the versions of the Batman we've seen. So, we'll see. We'll see. It
I
could be really good. But...
I stand by this. Clayface would be perfect for Matt Reeves' universe and like a big fantastical universe, because you could have the big clay monster, but you could also have the actor, right? And I think that would play so well with the detective side that Matt Reeves loves to use. You know what I mean? Because the Batman was very, very detective heavy. And having somebody that could be anybody in a sea of people and is a danger to all of them is fascinating. And watching him having to work out who it is would be great.
It's like Secret Invasion in the way they didn't do Secret Invasion. 3 Dubs wants us to respond to this one. Tim Drake, actor in the Batman, feels like he is the Robin in the universe without actually being the Robin. He felt like the Batman left him off easy for not going through with beating up the guy. Tim Drake, actor from Titans, I mean by that. Yeah. And again, I'd love a world where maybe they adapted Robin, but I don't see them going that direction, unfortunately.
It just showed, like, in that scene that Batman had a line, that just because you're a part of the gang, if you're not there, like, doing the gang stuff and actually a true part of the gang, then I'm not going to be sitting there wailing on you like the others. Like, if you run away, like, cool.
Yeah. It's also interesting that he's already in prison, that, like, Joker's already... He's already kind of active when Batman's kind of starts. So did Batman put him in? Because we're in year 2 of him being the Batman in universe. So maybe he just kind of put him away in there, and then maybe him being in prison is what kind of leads him down his like psychotic break or whatever it may be. Who knows? But was there anything else from the Penguin that you kind of wanted to touch on or talk about, or do you think we kind of got most of the meat and potatoes?
I think we got most of it. I mean, very intrigued to see where they go. I hope that they expand a little more, because they need to be careful with Sophia's character, that she doesn't that she's not needed so much that she just becomes somebody that just stands there like, I can't get who I'm after, the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, Penguin needs things to do, so I'm very intrigued to see what they are.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm definitely curious how we develop these characters, because I'll be honest, like, I think as a pilot, I do think it's a perfect pilot. Like, I thought it was a really good pilot. To the point, you could end it here, and that could be like, yeah, that was like a 5-star movie I just watched. So I'm curious, with 7 more episodes left, where do we take these characters for the next several weeks? Where are their journeys? How do we set up for, because this is a limited series, how do we set things in motion here going into the Batman? Like, where do we leave the Penguin for when he's in the Batman Part 2? Do you think there's any other Batman characters we kind of see pop in here? Like, do you think we get like a Catwoman, or even something as little as like a Scarecrow, or I don't know, any kind of...
I think this would be the key place to introduce people. Because obviously Batman is very driven. He's not a nostalgic person. So in his narrative, he's not going to be sitting there going, oh, I remember when I did this, or I remember when I did this. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm focusing on what I need to do, and this is the story you're getting. So this being a part of that universe, like like gives great opportunity to expand. And then like depending on how it's done, like they get their whole pick of the litter for the next villain of the movie. You know,
yeah, it's their time for world building that they wouldn't have time for in the mainstream movies.
Yeah.
So I mean that could be fun. Like if you kind of maybe set up a narrative, because like I mean like I don't want it to be a thing where like, oh, you have to see the Penguin to watch the Batman Part 2, but maybe for the people who want a little extra, there's like we're sprinkling in maybe a couple of lines of dialogue, or where maybe there's a certain character that might pop in that might tease. Like I mean who do you think the villain would be for the Batman Part 2? Because I feel like that's the question. Like knowing who the villain is, I think will be a better understanding for what they might have to set up.
The thing is, like his rogues gallery, pretty much all of them have been touched upon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a case of like, I feel who we're gonna see again at this point, unless he just goes like full out of the way and just goes Firefly or something. You know, because they couldn't do it in Batgirl, so he's like, oh, I'll use you. You know, come along. I don't know, Batman 2. I'm stuck. Solomon Grundy would be cool, but is his size too fantastical?
Yeah, he's kind of one of the more fantastical ones. The one I've been running with is like once he kind of said it's going to really touch on like the corruption of Gotham, and I've said this over on the pipeline a couple times at this point, but I've said I think the Court of Owls is definitely something they could touch upon. They're very grounded, but I think would really fit well within his, you know, the theme of his movies. I would love Hush. I think Hush, maybe if not for 2, for 3, because I think like this idea that like, because I don't think this Bruce Wayne, the way they've written this Bruce Wayne is very interesting, because it's usually Batman is the mask for Bruce Wayne, and then here Bruce Wayne is the mask for Batman. And I feel like you can have a villain like Hush, where it's like, well, I'm Bruce Wayne, that's who I am, and it has to put Bruce in a situation and be like, oh shit, now I have to take care of the Bruce side of my life as well as the Batman. Cameron said, I want to be the villain for Batman 2. You want to be one, or did you leave a word out? I would love to be Cameron as the villain of. Sorry.
Like we could have like by Batman 2, if we do like a jump to say like year 5, because that would be good, because I don't want them to still be dealing with the flood. Do you mean? Unless they're going to use that, and we're getting Mr. Freeze. Do you mean? Because Mr. Freeze coming and then having all of that water to work with to damage the city could work quite well.
We get Ocean Master.
yeah.
Just coming in with the.
The thing is, it's like usually how we see Gotham is divided up with specific color-coded, mask-wearing, badge-wearing. I'm this gang leader's gang, you know, i.e. Two-Face or Penguin or Riddler or Joker or Scarecrow or a few others, you know, like Killer Croc really doesn't have gangs. You know, but there are a few other rogues that have gangs and are part of the, you know, whole thing. So is he going to go for that kind of
sure,
like universe, and because we've already got the potential for like Penguin's gang at the end of this. We've got the Falcons and the Maronis, and then you see we got like mob families, but then like other crime bosses as well that come in, you know, and then like the Riddler's got his cronies now, you know, so like already gangs are forming, you know, so like is the new villain gonna rock up with their own gang? Are they gonna recruit again in the movie? I don't know. I'm really interested to find out.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very curious to see. Yeah, again, if they do set anything up within these movies, What?
Black Mask. Where was he? Like, this is another thing.
He
That's
would
the
love
only.
Black Mask. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that's the only other nitpick I have with if they do Court of Owls, like they were talking about the origins of Gotham, and they meant the only families they mentioned were the Waynes and the Arkhams for the Riddler's narrative. But they showed the Elliots, and I don't think they showed other ones, which would be in the Court of Owls. So,
sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Cameron wants to see Bane, which I think Bane would be cool. That seems like more of a James Gunn kind of universe, though, to me. Just in terms of like what he seems to be going for, in terms of the style of it all. But but I'm always open to doing like when they announced, we kind of talked about it already when they announced Clayface. It was like, well, it's probably not the big giant Clayface that we know, but you could do the actor who kind of just transforms in his own more grounded way, the original Clayface. So I'd like, if could you do Bane without changing his origin up, like changing how he operates a little bit? But then there's the argument with no one really wants a Bane that's not like a big hulking monster. Like, that's kind of the fun of Bane, I feel like.
Well, look at Tom Hardy. You know?
That is true. Tom Hardy's was more just kind of like a guy, just kind of like a guy in a big suit.
Literally a guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Just literally a guy with a brain issue.
Which created an entire. I feel like Tom Hardy changed Bane forever, and honestly, I love it. I love what he did for it. But
because I think like his voice is the reason we get the voice from the Harley Quinn show. So
and it's so good.
Forever. Yeah.
I'm
You'll be
grow up. It's so good.
Damn amazing.
He's the best character in that show. Best character in that show. But with that being said, I do think this is going to be where we wrap up today's episodes. Did you see what they're doing? Like, did you see they're changing the date for the Penguin for episode 2?
No.
Like this week it came out on Thursday. Next week it comes out on Sunday. So they split, and it's going to be Sundays for the rest of the season. So I was like, what the hell, man? That's weird. Why not start it on Sunday? I don't get it. I don't know why. Or have it come out today. Today's Sunday, right?
Will be. It's for me now, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So have it come out today. Have it come out on Batman Day, and then you're good for the rest of the I don't know. That's whatever. But thank you so much, Darth, for joining me today to talk about Agatha and the Penguin. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so. We've got some fun things planned for the remainder of the year. We have, obviously, Agatha and Penguin. Summer Lois is coming back very soon. Creatures at the end of the year. Some fun shows coming around the horizons. Want to answer Cameron's last question here really quickly. I want Arkham Knight to be the villain in Batman Part 3. Well, maybe.
That's a lot of work to get through to get there.
Absolutely. Goodbye, Defunct. It's great having you. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.